Hey everybody and welcome to Chairman of the Board. Today I'm going to be looking at The Big Score, which is a card drafting and push your luck game for 1 to 6 players. The game has a really cool theme where each player is like a mob boss, and the game is divided into 2 halves. The first half of the game you're going to be drafting cards, kind of semi-cooperatively working together, trying to orchestrate a series of small burglaries. Getting as much money as you can in the process. And then the second round, everybody goes into this big vault trying to take as much as they can before they get caught by the police. I really like the idea and concept of this. It has some very nice mechanisms in it, and it's used in a very kind of pure and simplistic manner. So let's talk about some of the mechanisms in here. So as I said, you've got the first round, or phase 1 I think it's called. You've got a series of card drafting where basically there's going to be a series of, I think there's 6 different locations of different places where you're going to kind of burgle. And all those different locations require certain criteria in order to burgle them. So they might need like a getaway driver or some hired muscle and stuff like that. And so they all got a certain amount of those different those different skill sets they need to perform the robbery. And then everybody is going to have a pack of cards. They're going to draft a certain type of criminal you need and then pass the rest on in a very, pure drafting manner. And then once everybody's got their kind of 6, 7 or 8 cards, whatever it is, you kind of dedicate the people you've drafted secretly to each job. And there's a real cool little trick to this, because you can either try and kind of fulfill certain jobs on your own and try and guarantee that you're going to get that job done, do most of the heavy work yourself. Or you can try and kind of piggyback off the work of others by trying to predict what they're going to dedicate their criminals to, and maybe just throw one in there just to make sure you're in on the job, because everybody gets the reward if that job is successful. If the job isn't successful, you're going to pay a small fine, and obviously you've wasted your cards. So I really like the idea of trying to predict where other players are going. You can be really cheeky and try to get on loads of jobs and, try and piggyback off others and make money that way. But there's a big risk that those jobs aren't going to go through. So there's this real kind of gamble on where you think people are going to go. And I like that about the game. There's also this other really cool concept where if you're a bit short on the criteria, everybody has a jack of all trades token. And basically that is like a wild that can be used to fulfill the role of any criminal. In order to pass the mission. So what's going to happen at that point is everybody in the mission is going to kind of secretly bid with their chip or not and reveal it. If someone has played the chip, that's going to fill one of those voids. But you're kind of hoping that other players are going to do it so you don't have to waste yours. So again, another kind of push your luck, kind of, a bit of mind games in there, trying to get as much mileage out of your cards as possible to get as much money as possible. So that's kind of the first concept of the game, the first half of the game. Works really nicely, ticks along very quickly, works well. There's another really cool concept in there if you want to use your criminals a bit differently, because instead of dedicating them to the missions, you can actually train them. So if you dedicate, I think it's 3 cards by the end of round 3, you get basically a special power going into phase 2, if that makes sense. I'll explain that in a second. So again, very pure drafting mechanic, a cool kind of blind bidding kind of concept where you're kind of, as I said, dedicating your workers to different spaces. Everybody reveals at the same time on each mission, and you just see what people have dedicated their workers to. So that's the first section of the game. But the second section of the game, or phase 2, which I think where the game really does kind of come into its own, and it does really amp up the tension. Because basically it's a pure push your luck style game now. Because basically all the money you've made in the first round is safe, and you're going into this vault, and basically in that vault you've got loads of different things. You've got these diamonds which work on a kind of cumulative style thing. So if you get 1 diamond you get a certain amount. 2 diamonds, it stacks up and up and up. When if you get 5 diamonds, you're getting a real big amount of money. You've got artifacts there, they're worth like 30 grand each. But if you have the most of them, you get a big cash reward there. So you're trying to have the most. And I like this concept of having these these like hard drives too, because in the first round you can win hard drives if you go to certain missions, but you need the digital key from the second phase in order to unlock what's on them and make loads of money that way. So a real good thematic integration there. I like that. Anyway, so let's go back to the vault. So basically in this vault, you're going to, in player order, you're going to choose to take something from the vault or not, secretly basically. So you're going to reach in and grab a token and keep your fist closed, and then once everybody's done that, you reveal it. If you've taken a token, you're basically saying that you're in the vault and you're going to take what's inside, whatever you've picked up. So it could be money, it could be an artifact, it could be like a digital key, it could be diamonds, but it could also be a cop token or a police token. And basically, as soon as a certain amount of police tokens are drawn based on the number of players playing the game, then everybody still inside the vault is going to get busted and lose everything they've got inside the vault. But if you choose to flee by not picking up a token, then you basically you get out with what you've already taken and keep that money. So the push your luck is so pure in this, and it works really well. You cannot help but feel the tension in this. I like the way that the more and more people leave the game, leave the vault, sorry, then obviously the odds are going to go down on drawing it, but they're going to have to, they're trying to think, have I got enough to pull out now and hope the others get busted, or have I just got to stay in and get more and more and more and just hope I don't get arrested? Really cool concept. Needless to say, I think I forgot to mention the winner of the game is the player who has the most money at the end. Again, it's just a very kind of a cool or different kind of integration or synergy of different mechanics. You've got the card drafting and the push your luck, which usually aren't used together, but these two do work really well. Even though the phases are very, very distinctive, again, they do work well. It makes the game feel like it's got a lot of variety to it, because the first round is so different than the second round. And it's just a fun game. A fun game. The rules aren't too heavy at all. I think you can play this with non-gamers and have a good time with it and not have too much trouble teaching the rules either. Basically, it's just gambling. Are you going to stay in? Are you not? Decision-wise, it's pretty decent. Obviously, it's luck driven, but you ride your bets. You know the odds. You play the probabilities, and that is actually kind of what the game is all about. So the luck factor here isn't an issue for me because that's the gamble of the game. Balance-wise, again, it's a gambling game. It's a push your luck style game. So you could just draw the bad end of the stick and keep getting worse tokens than everybody else. But that's what the game's about. It's about pushing your luck, trying to stay in. As I said, like mechanism-wise, a very, very simplistic use of very tried and tested mechanics, and it's used very well. The theme is very well wrapped in those in that push your luck kind of style game, because obviously, robbing a bank is going to be that gamble of, are you going to stay and get more before the police get you, or are you going to get out of there and get out there while you can and keep what you've got? Plays in a very good amount of time. I think the game took about an hour with 5 players, and it shouldn't take much more than that with more players, because most of the game you're going to be playing at the same time. There's no or next to no downtime here. Everybody's drafting at the same time. Everybody's kind of revealing what they've got at the same time. So very little downtime here. Everybody's always engaged, everybody's always got something going on, and you're not waiting for other people to make decisions. It just ticks along very nicely, a good pace to it, and again, the box is 30 to 60 minutes, and I think that with a higher player count, you're going to stay within that time frame. With a lower player count, you're going to get this done in half an hour fine, I think. So a good accurate representation there. Replayability-wise, I think it's pretty decent, to be honest. You've got lots of different characters you can choose, and while the individual powers of those characters isn't much in it, to be honest, it's more than just what you want to look like, what character you want to be, not really individual powers, but you can try different things. You can go for those different training methods of taking the different powers in the phase 2, and some of them are really cool, to be honest, because like if you go for the hacker power, you get money for your locked hard drives. Where normally you'd only get that if you get the memory stick as well, you'd get the reward. But a cool level of theme there. You've got, I like the, I think it's the getaway driver one. It might be the grease man, where if he chooses to flee the vault, he gets to take one of the tokens that are on the vault floor, which is basically like an open forum where if you draft something, so if you pull something from the vault, you can swap yours with what's on the with one of 5 tokens which is on the vault floor. It kind of just gives a bit more autonomy to the game and makes other players what your choices, what you want to discard, might be useful to other players. So there's that cool kind of push and pull there. I like that. Player interaction is really cool because you're trying to psych out your opponents, trying to guess what they're going to do in the first round. In phase 2, you're going to be, trying to bottle people or trying to egg people to stay in or trying to force them out. Saying you're going to get busted this turn, so get out now, and then trying to, bluff them and pretend you're going to leave, but really going to stay and stuff like that. Very nice social game, I think. A very nice family-leveled game that is enough to satisfy gamers because there is some really cool, as I said, tried and tested mechanics here that players generally enjoy. A nice light breezy feel to it. Art-wise, I quite like it. Nice, it's well done. Nice kind of cartoony style, fits the game well. You don't want anything too gritty or heavy with this style of game because, as I said, the mechanisms are very simple and just the feel of the game fits the aesthetic very well. Component-wise, I've got the Kickstarter version here, so you've got some nice upgrades there. A really nice first-player token, some nice poker chips for the Jack-of-all-trades tokens. The cards are nice quality. The only thing that I might criticise a bit is the kind of cardboard vault that you get with it. While it looks really good, when it's getting passed around the table, the kind of base doesn't fit on too well, so it can kind of leak the tokens. But the game does also come with a really high quality kind of like a swag bag, which you can use instead of the tower. And I find that works a bit better because it's a bit more reliable and easier to pass around the table at those higher player counts. So no real complaints with the components here. Just I would like to have seen that the kind of the vault structure be a bit more robust. Love the theme here. It works really well with the mechanics. Just there's something really cool about robbing a bank. I like it a lot. And nice and quickly to set up and tear down. No real problems here. No issues with setup or tear down. Yeah, so overall, while this game is as nothing revolutionary, as I said, very tried and tested mechanics, it's done well. It's done really well. The 2 distinct phases keep the game feeling fresh. You don't get too bored with doing one thing because by the time you've done one thing, you're going on to something else. And it's a completely different feel from phase 1 and phase 2. So as again, it keeps players on their toes. A nice kind of energetic feel to the game. I like that a lot. It's just fun. It's a fun game that's very accessible. Not too much of a rules overhead. The push your luck aspect of the game is where the game really comes into its own. Probably one of the best implementations of a push your luck games I've ever seen, especially in that phase 2 where are you going to stay in the bank? Are you not? You might have a bunch of hard drives and you really want those USB sticks in order to unlock them, but the cop track's getting close to the end, so is it too much of a gamble and are you going to lose everything? Just a great implementation of push your luck. It's going to be probably my go-to push your luck game now. Really enjoyed it. As I said, nothing amazing here, but it's fun for what it is. It plays in a nice amount of time and I can see it getting to the table a lot because, again, it's quick, it's easy to play, a nice breezy feel to it for those days when you don't want anything too heavy or too thinky. And it's got the good level of player interaction here. If you've got the game, your game group is a bit enjoys the banter and a bit of playfulness. So overall, yeah, I enjoyed the game. One that I would recommend to families and gamers alike because it is fun overall. If you don't enjoy the game, I think you need a reality check and have some fun. Remember what we do this hobby for: is to play games and have fun, and this game delivers that. So I hope you enjoyed this quick review of The Big Score by Ryder Games. If you have, please hit like and subscribe to my channel and check out my other videos too. For everyone else, I'll see you next time on Chairman of the Board. Bye.